When most people look at Animal Kingdom, they see the Tree of Life and assume they are in for a quick morning zoo visit. They figure they'll see some animals, ride a coaster, and be back at the hotel pool by early afternoon. Operating on that assumption leads to a predictable outcome. Families stroll in around 10:30 a.m., hit the peak afternoon crowds, and end up burning their premium vacation hours sweating in 90-minute standby lines out in the blazing sun. To understand why that casual approach fails, we have to look at the physical reality of the park. This bar graph compares Disney's footprints in Orlando. Magic Kingdom sits on about 107 acres. Animal Kingdom covers 580 acres. Navigating that footprint requires miles of walking over uneven, themed terrain. It demands realistic footwear, heavy hydration, and mental preparation for the sheer distance between attractions. This presents a very specific problem. You have to figure out how to conquer the largest Disney park on Earth without running your family into the ground by 3 in the afternoon. Solving this requires a simple equation. You have to weigh your physical energy and your capital allocation against your experiential yield. How much effort and money are you putting in, and what kind of vacation are you actually getting back? A go-with-the-flow mentality drains both your wallet and your patience here. Surviving this environment requires a highly intentional pacing and sequencing strategy. That means front-loading the highest effort, highest demand tasks in the early morning hours, and then forcing your group to actively slow down in the middle of the day. Pacing your group across these 500 acres determines whether you actually make it to the evening highlights that make the trip worthwhile. If you want to use physical effort to beat the lines, a strategy known as rope dropping, you have to accept an intense input requirement. You need your group awake, dressed, and waiting at the transportation stops by 6:30 a.m. The direct outcome of that effort is walking straight into the Pandora area and riding Avatar Flight of Passage with almost no wait, well before the park officially opens to the public. The trade-off is harsh. You induce high travel stress and drain a massive portion of your family's daily energy reserve before 8 in the morning. Here is the alternative. Instead of Path A's sprint, take Path B. Buy a lightning lane for Flight of Passage and start on the safari. This $80 cost for a family reclaims 2 hours. You get a relaxed entry while the crowd sprints. The strict operational constraint here is timing. To secure Path B, one person must execute that purchase in the app at exactly 7 a.m. on the morning of your visit. Spending $80 for a single attraction is a significant input. However, that cost buys 2 hours of morning stamina that your family will need during the heat of the afternoon. Once the morning rush ends, your strategy shifts to the Africa section, specifically Kilimanjaro Safaris. Because you are dealing with a live African savanna, you have to experience it either very early or very late. There is a direct correlation between ambient temperature and animal activity. If you ride the safari in the middle of the day, you will find most of the animals sleeping out of sight to avoid heat. From 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., you execute the midday pivot. You stop waiting in ride queues completely. Instead, you move into the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail or the Maharaja Jungle Trek. These trails offer heavy shade and low foot traffic. While the bulk of the park is baking in peak Florida heat, your group is walking at their own pace under tree cover. This is an intentional sacrifice. You are lowering your pure ride count during these 2 hours in order to restore the group's physical stamina for the evening. If you need a more aggressive cooldown during this window, you can input a ride on the Kali River Rapids. The trade-off for Kali is immediate relief from the heat, at the cost of walking around in completely soaked clothing and wet shoes for the rest of the afternoon. Embracing the slow-paced, shaded trails instead of fighting afternoon queues separates the exhausted tourist from the strategic veteran. The next critical juncture for managing both your energy and your time is navigating the park's dining landscape. This quadrant chart maps dining choices by price versus quality. We have Flame Tree Barbecue, Satuli Canteen, and Tiffin's. Satuli Canteen hits the optimal intersection of moderate price and excellent quality, but you must execute a mobile order by 10 a.m. Getting that order in early allows you to tap a button when you're hungry and completely bypass massive 20-minute food queues during the lunch rush. If you prefer a premium rest environment, the alternative is booking Tiffin's exactly 60 days in advance. You pay more, but you secure guaranteed seating, air conditioning, and signature dining. Whether you optimize for rapid mobile efficiency or a premium sit-down rest, successful theme park dining requires making capital decisions long before anyone in your family is actually hungry. Every pacing strategy we've covered, the early lightning lanes, shaded trails, mobile orders, serves one ultimate objective: keeping your group in the park past 5 p.m. You can use the Dinoland area as a high-energy filler in the late afternoon to bridge the gap as the sun begins to set. As the sun finally goes down, the entire lighting and color palette of the Pandora environment completely shifts. Looking at this shot, you can see the result of that transition. The ground, the plants, and the water all activate with bioluminescence. The environment completely changes character at night. A secondary benefit of staying late is heading back to Kilimanjaro Safaris at sunset. The temperature drops and the animals become highly active again. Reaching this dusk window is a physical requirement. If you push too hard in the morning and skipped your midday hydration and rest, your family will be on a bus back to the hotel before the lights even turn on. Experiencing Pandora at night is the reward for groups who maintain disciplined capital and energy allocation throughout the day. Attempting to wing a park this massive leaves you hitting peak crowds during peak heat and wasting the money you spent to get there. To guarantee a higher return on your investment, follow this definitive chronological flow: a strategic morning rush, a deliberate midday slowdown, and an evening return. Executing this exact sequence allows you to extract maximum experiential value while maintaining your family's sanity. Seeing the best of this park requires you to let go of the need to check every single box on the map. To execute this plan perfectly, head to mydisneybrain.com and pick up the Walt Disney World First Timers Complete Planning Guide for $37. It lays out the exact daily itineraries and budget breakdowns you need. A $37 planning guide provides the specific itineraries and cost breakdowns that protect the thousands you've already spent on tickets and hotels.